Thundercracker to Soundwave. Thundercracker to Soundwave. Proceed, Thundercracker. Alien vehicle approaching. Possible Autobot. Skywarp to Megatron. Request permission to teleport. Permission granted. Teleport and destroy.
It's like fighting a shadow!
Okay, Toy Addicts, this is the Toy Addict, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Target exclusive Earthrise Villains 2-pack of Thundercracker and Skywarp. Now, I know a lot of you have been trying to find this, and it's fairly hard to find, and it's still fetching more than what the normal price is, but have patience, they will be released soon enough. But I was fortunate enough to snag my own, and I had to get it online. Amazing, right? But I have them. And we're going to do a little quick comparison to their original counterparts, and we're going to jump right in. Well, the first thing I want to say is the colors are spot on. Well, not exactly. I still think that Skywarp should be a little lighter, maybe like a lilac color, but hey, I'll take what I can get. Now, I know a lot of us been waiting for the Seeker mold to come into their original F-15 molds, and here they are. And boy, I'm not going to lie, I think they look better than Starscream themselves. So let's just get right off looking at the color here. Now, this is a more of a sea blue, greenish kind of blue tint. It may not show up here the way that it should, but that's what it is. And I have to admit, it does look good. I love the colors. I love the way it looks. The detail, everything looks nice. Same thing, Thundercracker. He's a nice dark black color. The purple, again, a little too deep compared to his original Seeker mold. But hey, what can I say? We can accept that. Articulation is the same. As you know, the legs can bend back like this. And you can bend them back like that. I believe they can go all the way back to here. So, I mean, you know, if you want to pretend like he fell, then you can do that. Also, the head sculpt, he does look like he's screaming. I don't quite understand that. Why is he screaming? But no one's told me why. But he is screaming. He's like, ah, ah, ah. And you can see that there. He's screaming. Why is he screaming? But anyway, besides those head sculpt changes, these look very nice. Now, as you know, we did get the Seeker mold way back in the days of 2006. And they have been released to the ends of no return. So much so that literally they had to retire the Seeker mold. There are too many iterations to count, and I'm just not going to count them today. But here are their original counterparts. Now, these counterparts are not the Henkei versions, but these are the United versions. And they don't stand very well. That was another issue with them because they didn't have a way to pivot their feet. Because of the paint jobs, they have a metallic paint, so Skywarp kind of has a two-tone look to them, but this is the actual purple. It should have more of a lilac color. The same thing with this guy. He's more of a light blue, I would say, has a more sea green blue. And like I said, you really can't see it on the video, but he is a tad bit darker. The worst thing about the 2006 Seekers was these big, humongous, giant blasters on their arm. And of course, when you try to do this, the wings fall back. You know, there's that weird issue. Another thing, this mold is suffering from serious degradation. The nose cones on the back are hanging on by just friction now because the paint jobs on the United versions are very heavy. And just sitting in the packaging, because they do come with their own special box, they just seem to fall apart without me touching them. So, you know, bear in mind, I will be transforming them into jet mode off screen. But we're going to put them to the side a second. Because we know what you came to see. We came to see the Seekers that everybody seemed to compare them to. And that's Siege. Now, Siege, we're going to just use Skywarp because I don't know where I put Thundercracker. I think I lost him somewhere in the shuffle of packing stuff up. Siege Thundercracker has this incredible Skywarp has this incredible articulation. I mean, the legs go all the way here. The arms pivot. That happens sometimes. But even the waist, the waist swivel. Look at that. Waist swivel. The fist turn. I mean, you can get some dynamic poses out of them. But the problem is, while they look good, they're not the iconic look. But I will give Hasbro credit for making them. But as you well know, we like our Seekers to be F-15 fighter jets. Even though I'm pleased to have this one because he turns into that old nice pyramid flying contraption, this is not how they look in the show. They basically went from looking like this to turn into what this was. But that's the power of animation. But if you look at it more closely, I do think that overall, you'll be pleased getting these two. And of course, Skywarp is like anywhere to $100 and $150. So with that being said, everybody, we're going to do a few more laps around looking at the toy. And the one thing I do like is that the wings fold back. So you can do this and it looks nice and easy. You got that look. We can pull them like that. He's probably saying something crazy. And then the Cracker's just looking at him like, why is he screaming? And I do like the details. For some reason, the details on the chest show out a lot more. These do look like they stepped off to the cartoon screen. So with that being said, I don't want to go too long. We're going to go into the next part, and that's when we're going to transform into jet mode, do a quick review, and then I'll give my final thoughts on what I think about this mold. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Now we're going to take a quick look at the jet modes. And I must say, the uniformity of these jet modes are strictly amazing. And you thought the Seeker mode from 2006 looked good? These look better. But take a caveat from me. These do kind of look a bit on the cheap side. I said it. As exposed compared to these guys. Now the United versions, if you didn't know, fixed the problem that the Henkei versions had. They applied the chrome subtly instead of applying the chrome just generously. So you have the chrome in the back of the fuselage, which makes sense. And this is the back of a fuselage of F-15. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston Air Force Base is right down the street from where I lived. Well, not down the street. I'm from Charleston. It's in North Charleston. But every day we see C-131s. We used to see the old C-17s, the new C-17s, the old C-141, and F-15s. And we used to see these every day. And we know what they look like because they fly over the city. If you live in Charleston, you see these every day. They do war games over the Ashley River. Hey, I get to see that. So the one thing I will say about the original Seeker mode is from the top, they did a good job. They have, the full landing gear. Of course, these ugly blasters. And for the Henkei United versions, they had the underside of the wing is actually painted with the Decepticon symbol. That's one of the things I loved about that. But this side profile was always off. Because you see, the wing piece right there clips that. Uniformity is what makes this silhouette look good. And the detail lines, they are a bit on the cartoony side. Because if you notice, these are more realistic. But they did an amazing job. The only thing I have a problem with is the back of the jet. The fuselage, I guess that's from a Raptor F-22. I don't know why they didn't give it the original, circular design like it should be. But we'll take what we can get. No landing gear. Underside is pretty much the same. Nothing really different here. Let's take a good look at that. Nothing different there. Nothing different there. And they borrow heavily from each other. I mean, you want to see that? They do. They borrow a lot from each other. Very much so. But this is a lot nicer. It feels like a jet. Like, it doesn't really feel like it transforms. Whereas this, you can tell it transforms because of the dips and curves from the mold. This, when you put it together, feels just like a jet. And I mean, this really does look like the cartoon. The colors are right. Everything is right. The blasters, like I said, underside, don't look at it from underside, but look at it from the top. Even from here, there's the gap. There's the gap there. But if you look at it from the top, it just looks good. And I like Thundercracker. I love he's got the black rudders, which is, well, this is more cartoonish because it doesn't have the striping there. Whereas on the United version, it has the striping, which is more or less in line with the toy. Now over to Skywarp, it's the same thing. But the black on here is very heavy. It's nice and shiny. Again, let's look at it from the back. And of course, the one thing I will say, the blasters in jet mode, they kind of work. But still, they were always too big. But however, with Thundercracker having that purple rudders, he looks like the cartoon. This is still one of my favorites. It's hard. This Starscream is just, to me, Starscream is just pale. He's just plain compared to Thundercracker. These colors, Skywarp, these colors are just, they did a good job. And I will say, these are just amazing. So to me, the jet modes are perfect. I don't have any of the plastic flash that the other ones have, and so I'm happy with that. So now we're going to get to the final part because there's nothing else to be said. We already know what they look like, and I'll give my final thoughts and conclusion. So my final thoughts on these two. I'm going to say I like them better than Starscream, the paint job. I don't know about what it is about these two. When they're together, they just look so cool. Some people might think they're brothers. I'm not sure of that. I say they are, to me anyway. But they do look amazing. I think the colors really pop. You can't go wrong with these two. You will complete the main three. We can't wait for the cone heads to come out, because when the cone heads come out, that's going to be another hunt and a chase. For myself, I'm not going to lie, on my shelf, I kind of go to these two to play with them while I'm sitting down watching TV or watching other YouTube reviewers. I would tell you, if you can, get email notifications, so that way you would be able to not only snag these two, but, save yourself on the cost. Now, I got lucky. Mine was supposed to be delivered on July 1st. They were supposed to send it 2-day shipping, but it didn't get sent 2-day shipping. It wound up getting sent UPS Sure Post, which y'all know is going from the UPS to USPS to be delivered, and it got delayed. I raised the stink about it because I really didn't want this to get lost in the mail, and in the process they gave me $10 off. So instead of paying with taxes $62, and if you have the red card you save about 5%, I wound up only paying $50 for it. So just bear that in mind. And if you have UPS account and it's under your name, you can change it to ground for $3.50 from UPS. Other than that, these are at Targets. I don't know the DCPI number, but you can get it. Cybertron group that I go to has it on Facebook, so please be ready to go there and kind of search through the posts. And, just try to get them because the price is dropping, so that means that they're becoming more available. But I do believe after these are not available anymore, you're going to have to pay the aftermarket price again. And we all know what happened with Siege Thundercracker. I bought mine. It was $50. Hey, I just said, hey, I'll go ahead and go for it. And people waited, and hey, you see what happens there. So other than that, I give these two, I'm not going to lie, my thoughts, a 9.5 out of 10. Why am I giving him a 9.5? They don't have waist swivel. Other than that, the biggest gripe that I have with the Earthrise Seekers is the transformation in the chest. because you do have to make sure you're careful with it. But a little squeezing of this part right here will help you to get it from unlocked from the tab. That's just how I do it. You may have a different way of doing it, but either way, that's great. So I want to thank everybody for watching my review. This is the first of my reviews. This is going to be strictly a toy channel because YouTube has really not helped me in any way. So I'm going to help myself. Please like, subscribe, and share to the Toy Addict. I want to do more videos. I got more stuff to come. I collect Transformers. I collect Power Rangers. I collect Hot Wheels, but I probably won't review those. And a whole lot of other stuff. But it's all about toys, mainly Transformers and transforming robots. Have a nice day, everybody, and stay a Toy Addict.